This episode was all about the Pride Troopers. Well, in a way, we did at least learn much more about them. Some things I'm sure was a surprise to a lot of fans, but I'll get to the specifics as I break down this episode. That being said, the opening cut to Goku and Jiren did show that Toppo is indeed calling the shots here as he Justice Flash Goku away from Jiren. The two Pride Troopers then decide that it's more prudent to conserve their energy and avoid any major conflicts until later in the tournament. Makes sense, that's basically what Gohan was saying for their team. We also get the confirmation here that at the very least there are 4 Pride Troopers that were more specifically designed to be infantry. Now this might also be a 5th one in Casserole, but alright, these guys aren't as strong as Jiren and Toppo, and therefore, their stamina is not as important, right? So they are being used as, essentially fodder, as best as I can tell. I mean, maybe they're being used to tire out some of the larger threats in the tournament, so that Jiren and Toppo can have an easier time with them. I'm not 100% sure on that, but I think it can be safely assumed that the 3 other Pride Troopers, including Vuan, possibly, I don't know, are stronger than the 5 highlighted in today's episode. I mean, I'm not going to hold it against Vuan for being taken out by Kale, of all people. I've been going completely berserk. So, alright, anyway, it's at this point we're introduced to these 5 Pride Troopers. Tuppa, Zure, Kokote, and Keto, right? And of course the commander Casserole. I'm not sure Casserole is really as... I don't know if he's on their level in terms of weakness. Because these guys are clearly not at the same level as Toppo and all of them. Unlike the other 4, Casserole has gotten some one-on-one time with the stronger Pride Troopers and is shown to be a valued member. It's even mentioned in this episode that he's actually conquered several planets. That being said, Casserole was shown as a good guy, risking so much just to save a kitten. He was originally written to be a very sympathetic character that the viewers were meant to root for, but this episode seems to undo a lot of that goodwill. I mean, what was it? The Pride Troopers don't forgive those who hurt our own, or something like that. I don't quite remember the quote, obviously, but this is another piece of evidence that might confuse some fans out there. The Pride Troopers have been painted as a team of heroes. They fight for justice and what is right. And while Toppo seems to be all about that and is a leader, not everything really adds up. For instance, they're named Pride Troopers. I mean, pride is not a positive trait. I mean, a lot of people think it is and treat it as it is, but it blinds people to the truth. It's the enemy of humility. It creates hate and grudges. And we see here that, Casserole just outright abandons the idea of forgiveness because a friend of theirs was eliminated from a tournament. We also saw a similar level of lack of understanding or willingness to even try to understand from Toppo when it came to Goku. Now, I get that this actually falls into the whole Sentai thing. I get that. It's a whole genre. This sort of behavior is normal. But the simple fact is these guys are focused on pride, and while that's not always a detrimental thing. I mean, look at Vegeta. I mean, holy crap. So, to put it simply, while the Pride Troopers might do really good things for a lot of people, I don't think they're necessarily a good group of people. Anyway, continuing with the actual episode. How long? 4 minutes almost I've been rambling about this crap. Anyway, this is where it's Caulifla and Kale's time to shine, right? They and Goku are now confronted by these 5 Pride Troopers, and while Goku was concerned that, the other 2 Saiyans won't be strong enough, or, honestly, more likely, he just wanted to fight all 5 himself, Caulifla protests and insists they fight too. This is where we get a little bit more character from Kale. And she's like, I don't like him. Or however she says it. Again, it's like, I don't know how she said it. It's Japanese. But she says it as she shrinks behind Caulifla. It's adorable. It kind of undermines her crazy brute strength she has hidden inside her. And it doesn't seem to be all... And she doesn't say it out of hate or malice. She just seems very uncomfortable around Goku. I mean, the most obvious reason, of course, being, how friendly he is around Caulifla. I mean, Kale doesn't play with that. But it could also stem from Goku's upbeat attitude. Kale's most comfortable when she's in the midst of self-deprecation. Goku's confidence, however, stems from a place of, weird, pure innocence. I'm curious if there's not more going on here than Kale just being jealous of Goku. And after a quick pep talk from Caulifla, she manages to change Kale's spirits and gets Goku excited about both of their power. Okay, so I believe it was right about now that we cut to Master Roshi versus the captain of Team 7, the Pricho! I don't know. It's an odd name. I like saying it, though. Anyway, it would appear as though Universe 6's team got split up and Roshi left out on his own. I mean, when Kale went nuts and all those explosions happened, the entire team got split up. The Preacher finds Roshi, and Roshi is forced to defend himself with his Lightning Flash Surprise. A move that can only inflict pain and immobilize the recipient. It's weird though, right? Because Roshi is now in a really tight spot. He might be holding the Preacher back, but we can all safely assume that the Preacher is far stronger than Roshi is. And this is the captain of an entire universe here. This also explains how Roshi was able to use this technique to hold Ten Shinhan back as well during the build-up to this arc. A lot of people were confused. Roshi should not be anywhere near as strong as Ten Shinhan. Back when Ten Shinhan was first introduced, it was implied that if they're not even, Ten Shinhan's stronger than Roshi. And, I mean, you could argue otherwise, but they're the very least close. And Ten Shinhan was a teenager, or he was young. Roshi was an old man. Roshi had hit his peak. Ten Shinhan was just getting into his own, and since then, Roshi hadn't trained, and Ten Shinhan trained every day of his life. There should be no comparison between the two characters, and Roshi won that fight. Or at the very least, he immobilized Ten Shinhan to the point where Goku had time to come in and finish off the job. So, it's kind of weird. Speaking of Ten Shinhan, though, he pops up and blasts the Preacher with the Shinkikoho and knocks him out of the ring and saving Roshi. Because remember, Roshi can't do anything here. He is simply holding somebody back from eliminating him at this point. But it was really cool. I mean, Roshi was like immobilizing someone way stronger than he was. Again, speaking of Ten Shinhan, it was kind of like how Ten Shinhan took down Semi-Perfect Cell. Only difference being is that we really hated Semi-Perfect Cell. It felt really good to see someone just put him in his place. So yeah, Roshi and Ten Shinhan getting some work in. It's really good, and I love to see it. So, yeah, between the Lightning Flash and Kikoho, the rest of Universe 7 is able to find their comrades, including Frieza and Vegeta, who had split up from the core group a long time ago. Oh, and thanks to Frieza, another team captain is down, this time from Universe 10. Yeah. They're not going to be in this tournament for much longer. I said it last time. I mean, at this rate, they'll be out by next episode. I don't think so, though. I think there's going to be I don't know, unless Universe 2 focuses down Universe 10, right? I kind of don't see that happening, but who knows? They seem to be trying to eliminate Universe 10 pretty quickly. It's been a while since we had elimination. People might start forget a little bit about what's going on here. Oh wow, a whole universe is got eliminated. We need another reminder. And there's a lot of people involved here, right? So it makes sense. So, all right. Back to the Pride Troopers. Tupperware decides to bear hug Goku. Seems like everyone in this tournament wants to give Goku a big old hug. However, this time around, the enemy has a plan. Tupper can change his... Is it Tuppa or Tupper? The subtitle said Tupper, like Tupperware. So I'm going to keep calling him that. Can change his weight whenever he pleases. So he can effectively pin down or even crush opponents without the need for some extreme physical strength. And while I'm sure Goku could bench press this entire arena, this is, of course... It works on him. I don't know how. It just does. I mean, Goku has to just be saving all of his strength for his fight with Jiren, right? Not wanting to waste any gas on fights he has no interest in. So, now we have more evidence that the Pride Troopers aren't really an up-and-up organization, right? Zoiray goes ham on Goku's gut while Tupperware has him pinned down. It's not cool, man. It's not cool. Caulifla fights, I think, Keto? Yeah, it was Keto for a bit, and it's probably one of the cooler moments in the episode, to be completely honest. Keto goes on the defense while secretly releasing Ki and forming it in concentrated balls suspended above Caulifla. It's basically like a violet Hellzone grenade, which is already one of the most underused techniques in the entire series, right? It's a really cool technique. I wish it'd get more use. So, we're looking for more evidence that the Pride Troopers aren't good guys, right? Well, just listen to Coquette's laugh. I mean, 100% bad guy laugh. Of course, this laugh is brought about when Coquette traps Kale in her Coquette Zone? I don't know. It's a weird name. It's basically a pocket dimension. We've seen similar things before, what with the Room of Spirit and Time. And remember how many people have broken out of that place? So yeah, I don't think Kale's going to be stuck in there for too long. I will say this, though. As dumb as the Coquette Zone is, at least how dumb it sounds, I should say, the title Castrol Messenger by the Dimensional Illusionist is pretty freaking cool. I love that. So this is where things start to get awesome, right? 17 talks to Casserole and boots him in the face. Now Casserole has no idea he's even there. He can't sense his energy. Him and 18 show up acting like their old selves, and for the first time this tournament, I'm glad Krillin got eliminated. I know that's mean, but he would honestly be holding his wife back here. 17 and 18 then square up against a confused Casserole, as he cannot sense their ki whatsoever. That whole android thing popping back up again. So here's where the subtle stuff starts happening. 17 and 18 in this little bit of time gauge Casserole's power and silently decide to split up and leave the fight to 17. Casserole, however, being the master combat specialist that everybody totes him as, thinks she's just running away. Now, this is probably the dumbest thing that's happened in this arc so far. Casserole not only horribly misreads the situation, but he's completely cool with someone that he can't sense the ki. I don't get it. He can't sense her ki, and she's leaving his line of sight, and he's good with that? I mean, really? I can't wait for this guy to get the boot, right? I mean, I liked him originally. They hyped him up. They're like, he's a really swell guy, and now he's doing like really bad guy-like tactics. He's a great tacticianist. Tacticianist. Wait, what? Tactician. There, he's a great tactician. And then he just lets 18 just wander off. It makes no sense. He misreads the situation. Alright. Getting back on track. Sorry, I mean, that just like completely blew my mind. Anyway, 18 then casually saves Goku from a situation he had no issue with. And don't think Goku's stupidity, or the stupidity of the writing here, is lost on 18. She might not say anything, but her natural instinct is to be skeptically annoyed at everything she sees, and it serves her well. Anyway, she then starts giving Goku orders, and he complies immediately, and I actually just love this scene. The fact that, Goku just sat there being stupid and has to be told to fight by 18 is just amazing. And 18 and Goku don't have a whole lot of interactions together, and she's completely comfortable ordering him around, right? So anyway, not to get into too much detail, but 18 single-handedly takes out Tupper. It's not that big of a deal. Zoirei wisely tucks his tail and runs for help. And remember, these two were ganging up on Goku. It's not really a nice guy thing to do. I mean, everything about the Pride Troopers, I'm just... whatever. Anyway, Casserole also runs off to regroup once he hears from Zoirei that Tupper got eliminated. It's like, no longer is it 5v5, it's now 5v4. It wasn't even supposed to be 5v5 to begin with. So he wisely decides it's time to regroup. Coquette creates a massive zone for herself and the rest of the remaining Pride Troopers to take Cauliflower and Kale out in. And here's where things take their biggest turn in the episode. Kale goes into a form of Super Saiyan. Whatever this form is, it buffs her up. It looks a bit like Super Saiyan Grade 3, but it doesn't seem to buff her up that much. Is it a form of Super Saiyan Green? I mean, it's really hard to tell given the strange light in the Coquette Zone. It is, however, a different color than Cauliflower's. So I'm willing to bet this is a grade of Super Saiyan Green and not a Super Saiyan transformation. And real quick, I love the fact that this kind of, to me anyway, validates my Super Saiyan Green terminology, because in this form, she's not going berserk. And if her hair is a different color, if it's greener, then this leads me to believe that this is a form of Super Saiyan Green before you go berserk and lose your mind. Alright, so we could say this is grade 1, and going completely berserk and losing your mental faculties is grade 2. Right? So that would mean that this is the first time we'd ever seen this grade of Super Saiyan. One where you're kind of there, you got the power boost, maybe something similar to a Super Saiyan, but maybe... it's just really weird, right? You buff up. It's definitely not regular Super Saiyan. She definitely didn't go Super Saiyan Grade 3, I don't think. So, I really do think this is like the first grade of Super Saiyan. And then, just for the sake of mentioning it, she does go, right? Together, Cauliflower and Kale continue to combat the Pride Troopers in a beam struggle, and Kale basically says, screw this, and then she goes full Berserker mode. Except she's not going Berserk. See, she's fully in control of her Super Saiyan form here, and with that, 3 or 4 of the remaining Pride Troopers that were attacking are just gone. They're gone. They're poof, gone. Coquette, being the fourth that didn't get eliminated, protected herself at the last second, but 18 just boots her off the platform while in her little Coquette zone. So yeah, they're gone. Who cares? There's just 4 Pride Troopers left to go. But my point is, Kale goes berserk mode, but she doesn't lose her mind. So could this be like the true Super Saiyan green? Like, yeah, grade 1, grade 2, grade 3. Grade 3 being this actual form here. It's kind of weird because that's not how the grading system worked before. Grades were basically, grade 1 was, actually the grade system kind of got eliminated, didn't it? Because they started calling it Super Saiyan 2. But you get what I mean. It's very odd. They're adding, like, extra lore to Super Saiyan Green, Super Saiyan Berserk, whatever you want to call it. But the simple fact is, you can go there without going Berserk. So, I prefer the Super Saiyan Green approach to it, right? So, at this point, the fight's over with the Saiyans and the Paratroopers, and I'm a little concerned that Caulifla is sort of done now. Now, I know they're going to write her back into it. She's going to have all of her energy back somehow. But the amount of power that she used just feels like it was too much. Beaten down, being in Super Saiyan 2 for an extended time, an intense beam struggle, I mean, it's a lot. This is the sort of thing that would leave Goku laying on the ground, waiting for a Senzu beam. I mean, Kale was also worn out after all this, but she's got complete control over it now, and she lost consciousness before, and then she was able to go back into it like it was nothing. It's almost like there's a completely different ki or energy supply associated with this Super Saiyan form. Like, so I'm not going to write Kale out at all. She'll regain consciousness, she'll probably be right back to normal, and she'll probably be able to go right back into Super Saiyan Green whenever she wants to, right? And she's got complete control over it. And at this rate, she'll be a force to be reckoned with. I mean, we all know that. And speaking of women kicking butt, notice how all 6 Paratroopers eliminated this far was by women? I absolutely love this. Finally, Dragon Ball is doing right by the female characters, and it's about time, too. Especially since it seems like the next episode will focus on that Universe 2 and their primarily female fighting force. So, yeah, I really enjoyed this episode. I've been saying that a lot recently, but there's been a lot of Dragon Ball Super episodes prior to this arc that weren't all that enjoyable. And even though every one of my reviews has been during this arc, I'm probably starting to sound like a broken record. Oh, he loves every episode. Well, honestly, compared to what we've had in the past, these episodes are above and beyond. So yeah, I really enjoyed this episode. Every character from Universe 7 actually did something, except for like Piccolo. But come on, we all know he's going to get his share sooner rather than later. I mean, it's Piccolo, right? Well, those are my thoughts on this week's episode. Sorry this took so long to come out, but I had a pretty hectic week this week. It's been happening a lot recently. Hopefully that's going to change. Hopefully next week won't be so bad. Alright, so I'm Under, and I'll catch you all later.